Good day, everyone, and welcome back to the Ag Issues program here on 580 WIBW. I'm here with Daniel Hensley. He's the president with Concept AgriTek. How you doing today here, Daniel?
Man, I'm doing great. Doing great.
Oh, that's always great to hear. I heard you say you guys are we're getting pretty wet right now over in Missouri.
Yeah. We're dodging a few storms here and there, and we got wet again. We dried out there for a few days, but boy, it's gotten wet here in the last couple of days for sure.
Yeah. So here in Kansas, last year was like definitely top 5 for drought seasons. How did drought affect you guys over there?
I think drought affects us all. We last year was a tough year. I know Kansas had a bad year. We are stretched out all over the United States, so we've seen a pretty big picture of what went on. And I'll tell you, there was definitely pockets that was really bad, and then there was areas that had a really good crop. So you go south, get into Arkansas and Mississippi, and toward the Gulf Coast, it got a lot better. You go north, Kansas, northern Illinois, South Dakota, North Dakota, and boy, there was pockets that was really bad.
Absolutely, and as always, our western Kansas area, even on good years, it's still dry, but it didn't help too much. We're working that aquifer, man, and they actually just placed a few more regulations on that, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about AgriTek and how you guys are using soil health and biology to help mitigate some of those factors like heat, pests, and drought. So that's what we're here to talk about today. Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit of background on AgriTek, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so Concept AgriTek is a fairly new company. It actually got started in 2010, and then we're where we are today. So we're roughly 13 years old and still growing like crazy. We're located in Charleston, Missouri, which is kind of down in the boot heel of Missouri. And we are manufacturers of liquid fertilizer and biological products.
And I heard you guys make 100% of your product in Missouri. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, all proprietary products we have they're all made right there in Charleston, Missouri. So, we don't white label. Probably 95% of our products we make fully.
All right. So, how long have you been with them?
I've been with Concept AgriTek for 10 years.
What made you go with Concept AgriTek?
I was doing agronomy work for a large corporate farm, and they were I felt like they were kind of stuck in their ways on the fertilizers that they were using, and I got to researching some different things, and I met up with Trey Curtis through that research. Trey's the owner of our company, and at that time it was literally Trey and an intern and a part-time office lady. And I just seen, my gut told me, just really good company here and has lots of potential. So one thing led to another, and Trey hired me about 2 months later as an agronomist for him. So that's how I got started with Concept AgriTek.
And is almost everyone that works over with Concept AgriTek all full-time agronomists?
No, we have now we're up to over 40 full-time employees from warehouse managers and our guys making the product in the warehouse to district sales managers stretching all over the United States to our agronomy team. So we're trying to be very well rounded so we can support our customers better.
Yes, sir. That's good to hear. So can you go ahead and tell us how using soil biology and soil health, how that can help farmers with, the common stressors like pests, heat, and drought. And you guys can give us a little bit of a explanation on how all that works.
Yeah, I can, Slade, and if I get long-winded here, I apologize right out of the gate. But one of the things we found when we start thinking about biology, the first thing I can tell you is we are just scratching the surface on what we're learning as an industry. I think technologies have come a long, long ways, and our knowledge has come a long, long ways as well. But man, it seems like every year we're like, well, we didn't know that. We didn't know that. So I want to be really clear that, man, we're still learning just like everybody else. And I want the farmers and the growers out there to know that, hey, this is exciting. There is new stuff that we're learning that can greatly benefit how crops are grown today, But with all of that said, we've took an approach that's it's not just one product. It's not just one biological that does all the things that you mentioned before. And what I mean by that is, we have one that we apply to the soil that's kind of our flagship product that everything's kind of stemmed around, and we apply that to the soil, and it helps with freeing up nutrients. That's a big one. With fertilizer pricing being where it is today, with soil health really, really being a buzzword right now, when we apply that biology to the soil, we're able to use less fertilizers. So I'm not saying we cut fertilizers out. That's not what I'm saying. But we're able to use less, which helps the farmer in the long run and in their pocketbook. But it also starts to get that soil in a much more healthy environment. We also have with those same that same consortium of biology. It also helps with water infiltration, moisture retention. Then we get into the plant health things. We're starting to fight off some of those diseases that are present in the soil. Just the simple fact that we're allowing our plants to outgrow those diseases. We're able to fend those off to the point where our plants can outgrow them. That's just a really cool deal. And then you start to shift gears a little bit. That's kind of where we started looking at biological products, was in the soil. And then we started going, what about nematodes? There are huge pockets in the United States that are just loaded with nematodes. What can we do to help those problems? What can we do? And we wanted to do it biologically. We wanted to do it safely. We didn't want to use a lot of the really harsh fumigants or synthetic chemicals that's out there. And so we went down that path, and we started looking at, different consortiums of bacteria to really help battle nematodes. And so we come up with another product that's just for the nematode issue. So now we've got two different things addressing many different problems. And we're like, boy, this is pretty good. And we were going through some university testing, going through the whole third party testing deal with a lot of different universities. And we were actually at University of Georgia in some peanut trials many years ago, 5-6 years ago. We were there, and they asked if they could use one of our products in their trial, in a fungicide trial. And we're like, well, I guess it's not really for fungicides. That's not why we developed it. But if you want to try it, go ahead. And so they did, and we performed very well in that trial. And from that, we started working on a fungicide. And now we have an EPA labeled biological fungicide, which is really cool. So we've basically took the biological idea, and now we have products that are for soil and plant health, fungicides, and for pest controls as far as nematodes go. it's been a fun ride.
I want to be a little more clear on this. Aren't some nematodes important for feeding on bacteria and fungi? And I did hear you say that. But with what you're putting in the ground, can it target the ones that are doing more harm? Is there a way that it's targeting specific ones?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. We have been able to be selective with the nematodes that we attack. As a matter of fact, our biological piece actually has beneficial nematodes in it.
Okay.
So we actually add beneficial nematodes to our consortium of biology. So yes, we are very conscientious about what we're trying to kill or not kill in the soil. That soil health's a big deal.
Absolutely.
And we really strive hard to keep that balanced.
And so with this nematodes, what we're talking about now, how recent is that? You were talking about examples of stuff that we're still learning. Is that something that was kind of recent that you guys figured out, hey, we can make a product that does this specifically and it really does some beneficial things to our soil and such? Did that come up here recently, or has that been around for a little while?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Slade. We started down this road about 5 years ago. Very small scale. We had a really severe nematode problem in the Boot Hill of Missouri, and of all things, it was in corn. I can tell you, I have walked many miles and thousands of acres in cornfields, and that's the first time that I was seeing 100+ bushel swings in corn yield because of nematodes. And so 5 years ago, basically, we started down the road of trying to work on that. And then it has been just very recent that we released our EPA registered nematicide, which was here a year and a half or 2 years ago.
Okay. And, there are a couple of agriculture companies out there right now trying to find a way to eliminate the need for fertilizers and other products that you put in the soil to help with all that, be it by finding a way to bushwhack so you don't need to put as much on there, or being more selective with the areas of the ground that you actually put chemicals on. What do you have any thoughts on that, trying to eliminate some of the need for all the chemicals that we use in farming?
It's you talk about a moving target. That definitely is a moving target. So I'll kind of tell you what we found. The more healthy and balanced you can make the soils, the less need you have for a lot of the other things that we spend money on. Okay, be it pesticides, herbicides, or fertilizer. So that's one of the things that we've seen. We also know that, if that soil is very balanced, we have an acceptable pH, and the soil is balanced nutritionally, it's balanced biologically, all of a sudden some of our especially our broadleaf weed problem starts to go away. It's no longer is that soil environmentally friendly, if you will, for that particular weed. So it's kind of neat to see these soils coming back into balance and start to see some of those pressures start to go down.
Absolutely. Well, as we kind of wind down here on our Ag Issues program, is there anything that we didn't bring up that you think we should talk about? Like right now, because right now I think we've run through a lot of the good stuff, and if you have anything else, I'd be happy to talk more about it.
Yeah, Slade, I think we've covered, a 30,000-foot view of that biological world. One of the things I like to encourage our growers and just farmers in general to do is if you haven't tried any biology, pick you up living, breathing biology, not a catalyst, not a humic acid or a fulvic acid or something like that. pick up a living, breathing, biological product, consult with someone on that product, and figure out what's best, and try that on your farm. Take a look at it, try it on your farm, because what we've learned is that is a huge, huge piece of the puzzle in increasing yields and decreasing inputs.
Yes, sir. Well, I'd like to thank you very much for coming on our show here today. I really appreciate it. I definitely don't know as much as I need to know, or as much as I personally want to know about soil health and biology. But what we talked about here today really advanced my thinking here, and I sure do appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. That was Daniel Hensley. He's the president of Concept AgriTek. He joined us here on our 580 WIBW Ag Issues program. We'll go ahead and be right back after this short break.